guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a review show special. This is where I take a particular product, a particular company, a particular creator, and I do a deep dive and tell you everything that you need to know about that subject. Well, today I'm back with another 1914 review show special, and this time I'm looking at Eclipse, which is by Dee Christopher. Eclipse by Dee Christopher, presented by the 1914. You know when you see that iconic gold and black packaging that you know that you're probably going to be in for something special. You know, I read a lot of people's feedback and a lot of people's comments on the channel. And one thing that I hear over and over again is people are always excited about a 1914 release. I don't think there has ever been a bad 1914 release. They really value the quality of everything that they bring out. So what is Eclipse? There's been a buzz about this for the last few weeks. I was lucky enough to get one of these quite a little bit longer ago than anyone else. In fact, I remember Dee sending me a picture, a video of this and showing me like how far away he was reading the marks, and I was absolutely blown away. And in all honesty, I was like, that's got to be faked. Having now played around with it and worked it, it's not. So what is it? Well, Eclipse is basically a set of ESP cards. I have them here. They come in a really nice black case, and that's actually been done on purpose, and you'll see why in a minute. And inside you've got these ESP cards, and these ESP cards look like normal ESP cards. They handle really well. They are a very good quality card stock, but they hold an incredible secret, and the incredible secret that they hold is that they are marked on the back. Now, there are obviously marked ESP cards. There's lots of different people that have bought out marked ESP cards. The difference with these is you can see them from a very, very, very long way away, like a ridiculously long way away. I've told you guys on the channel in the past a lot, my eyes are terrible. They really are. Like, they're dreadful. My eyes are dreadful. And yet, even though my eyes are dreadful, I can see these marks really, really easily. Like, even taking my glasses off, I can see that is a circle. There you go. And I can see this one is a star. There you go. There you go. And I can see this one is a cross. There you go. And this one's a cross as well. This one's a cross as well. Oh no, wavy line, sorry. This one is a square. There you go. And that's when I'm not wearing my glasses, I'm basically blind. So the fact that I can go, you know, 3 wavy lines, star, another square, even though, like, with my glasses off, that should tell you. And you can see, I can do that with somebody holding these cards that far away. When you learn the marking system, wow. You learn it within a couple of seconds, and then it's very intuitive. It's brilliant. It really is, to be honest. And that's one of the key selling points to this. Having said that, there's a lot more to it as well. You get 2.5-hour download with Lewis and Dee talking about the project and talking about different routines. You get some gaffed cards for particular routines. There's a lot you get with this. This is not a trick. This is not a collection of tricks. This is a project. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. As with a lot of these review show specials, the first thing that I want to do is play you an interview with Dee Christopher. I sat down over Zoom with Dee Christopher and I talked to him about this project. And I asked him where it came from, the idea behind it, and just to elaborate a little bit more on what that people are getting within the actual, within the actual package. So I'm going to play you that interview. When the interview has been played, you're going to come back here into the studio. I'm going to perform one of the routines, and I will give the whole thing a full review. Okay, so I am here with the creator of Eclipse, the co-founder of 1914, the living legend himself, Mr. 1914, Dee Christopher. How you doing, mate?
I am very well. How are you, sir?
Always excited when you come on Magic TV. Seriously, always excited because you know there's going to be something cool.
Always excited to be here.
Well, thank you so much. Now, Dee, I got to talk to you. Why I've got you on here is obviously because of this.
This bad boy.
This bad boy, this is going up on Sunday. It's going to get released tomorrow.
Yes.
And there's a lot of buzz about this, like there is with most 1914 releases. And I remember when you first showed me this, you sent me a video over on your phone to my phone. And the video is kind of what's in the trailer of you like standing miles away looking in a mirror. And and doing these readings. And I was like, that's incredible, Dee, but my eyes are terrible. There's no way I'm going to be able to read it. And you're like, no, you can. And I'm like, no, I can't. And then I saw it and I'm like, I can't believe how easy these cards are to read. Like, it's incredible.
It's bizarre because the mark itself, when you look at the back design, it looks pretty subtle. I mean, you can immediately spot it from when you're holding the card. We've had a lot of magicians try and find the marking system and not be able to find it. But when you know what you're looking for, it's very easy to spot instantly because your eyes are automatically drawn to that particular part of the card. But yeah, the really interesting thing is because of the concept that is being used. I mean, we talk about all this in the instructions, obviously, but because of the thing we're using, even if your eyes are out of focus, so you can see it all. So at London Magic Convention, we were demoing these and teaching a few people how to read them, and there was one guy who was a glasses wearer as well, and he said, "Let me try this without my glasses because I've not got very good vision." And he took his glasses off, stood a few meters away, and was still able to read the markings on the cards, which, you know, because when you're releasing a product like this, there's always the worry that what if nobody else can spot it and I've just got superpower vision. But yeah, having someone who's not got very good vision, needs glasses, being able to read them without his glasses on, just put my mind at ease completely. I'm really excited for people to get these in their hands now.
Unbelievable. And also the other advantage that you have over, you know, a lot of the time when you think mark cards, you're thinking playing cards, where you've got to kind of basically, using a marking system, tell somebody one of 52 cards. You're only got 5 different pieces of information to give people in these, so it becomes a lot easier. And the mark, I mean, this is one of them that I'm showing the screen right now. It looks like a really cool back design, but you just can't, like, if you know what you're looking for, you will immediately be able to look at this. And I'm talking immediately from like really far away. And you can immediately just go, yeah, that's this card, which is like, where did the idea come from? Like,
how literally appeared in my brain fully formed. I just had a vision of an eclipse when I was literally sat at home, and this is years and years and years ago now, because a lot of people don't know this was originally I created some basic eclipse decks, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't know how long ago it was, and put them out on my personal website. I only did 40 or 50 of them or something, just to test it out really and see what people thought. And then years later we've redesigned the cards and made everything a bit bolder and nicer, and added gaffs in there for certain routines, and of course the instructions as well, because the original instructions was just a little PDF. So there are some people that have the original Eclipse decks in their possession from years ago, but yeah, I mean, these ones, even so, these ones are far superior just in terms of material and what you get and all of that.
And the cards really well made. Like you can tell they're nice card stock. These things are going to last I can't say a lifetime, obviously, but I mean, it feels like they're going to last a long time. They're really, really nice thickness.
I mean, I've been using the same deck for a long time, and obviously we shot loads of stuff with it and all of that, so it's been under hot lights, it's been on sticky tables, it's been everywhere, and it still works fine. This is a new one though, so when you open the box, you can't see that very well against the light, there's a nice little tuck box in there, and it's a plain black tuck box, because when we were discussing how to package these, obviously there are so many people now with different characters and ways of performing mentalism and magic and stuff. And I've never really liked when somebody pulls out a box and it's like the Institute of Parapsychological Research and this or whatever. I've found that 90% of the ESP decks out there have got that kind of a box, which makes sense if you're doing a particular style of performance. Or it has a box that blatantly looks like a magic trick. So we just stripped everything away, made it really high quality black matte cardboard, like the same art card that our packaging's made out of, just so anyone can use it. Because I mean, like when Lewis, who joins me on the download, when he's talking about ESP symbols, he doesn't mention anything about JB Rhine and the Duke University tests and all that kind of stuff. He actually talks about the symbols as a completely different thing. He explains that anywhere you go in the world, across the entire world, when you find ancient cave paintings and stuff, the same symbols appear regardless of where it is. So you'll get circles representing the sun or the moon. You'll get waves representing water, a square representing like shelter, and stars, obviously the stars up there. So there's like so many different ways that you can work with ESP cards. And when you're using particularly designed boxes or cards, you're kind of limiting yourself to that one sort of style, which isn't ideal. So yeah, that it seems like a ridiculous amount of effort to go through for a tuck box, but it's important, I think.
It is, and I think that's, I've mentioned this on the channel before. That's something about the 1914. Having worked with you myself personally, one thing I've found is your attention to detail is second to none, and that's with everything. It's with the packaging, it's with the filming of the project, it's like with the it's with the attention to detail to the actual prop. Absolutely everything, nothing is left unturned. Nothing, you can see that everything's been thought through to the nth degree. I mean, a lot of people here haven't been on a shoot with you. I have, and it just blew me away. Like, you had 4 people in the room, you had like multiple cameras, you had boom mics, you had other mics, you had like everything laid out. While I've been to other shoots in the past and it's been me and one camera. And it's I think it's that attention to detail which personifies the 1914, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we all come from working in TV and film and stuff like that. So we know how things are supposed to be done. So we just try and transfer as much of that, that we can into magic shoots, because it's very difficult to have like a full proper crew to shoot a magic product that you might sell maybe 1,000 copies of, 2,000 copies of, because the budget just isn't there for that. But luckily, everyone that is under salary in the 1914, we all have our specific little jobs in production, so we can create a crew out of the people that are already working for the company. So yeah, we're lucky in that respect, but at the same time, it's still difficult at times when you don't have like a much larger crew and everybody looking after everything, because you've still got to kind of share jobs, and it means that things can still go wrong. Like, we have no end of audio issues, which we managed to solve, but in the Eclipse shoot, for instance, one of the lav mics started crackling. Luckily we had 2 other mics in the room, so it wasn't a massive issue. But God, editing that 2.5 hours of crackling chords, trying to automate muting of this one channel, it was a nightmare. But yeah, it just means things take a little longer, but I'd rather things take a little longer and be a much better end result than just doing the old thing of sticking a camera in a room and that's it.
Sure. 100%. Let's quickly talk about the actual download, because you just mentioned it's 2.5 hours. It's you and Lewis talking about the project. One thing that I liked about the download, and I don't know if you did this on purpose, obviously you present 5 routines and they're killer. I mean, they're absolutely killer. And some all of them involve the marking system that's inherent with the cards, but then you've also supplied gaffed cards with the with the deck as well, which are used in some of the routines. And then Lewis performs and explains 2 routines, but the routines that you perform and explain, you then go into that section where you kind of explain how you can do this as an entire act and how to set up. Literally, all you've got is a glass, a couple of envelopes, in the deck, and you can sit down with somebody and do like
the whole
a 20-minute
is that. So
that's incredible.
I've got this.
I love that.
This little plastic whiskey glass that I just throw in my bag, and some envelopes, some special cards that are supplied, and then the normal deck. And with that, you've got a solid, like 20 minutes. I like when we shot it, we broke it up into 2, just sheerly so we could reset lights and all of this kind of stuff. But it equate to 20 to 30, something like that, depending on how much you go into the script, because we say 5 effects, but the way it's structured, they can be done individually, but the way it's structured, when I come to that final section, when I show how to put everything together, everything sort of flows into one. So you've got like an opener, which, you've got all that stuff on the table. It's very neat. You pull out one envelope, take one card out of it that's got all 5 symbols across it. This one, like that, and that's your introduction. You explain that the games, the experiments, whatever you're calling them in your script, are going to be done with these 5 symbols. These 5 symbols across here. Put that down in front of someone, and your opener is basically asking them to just choose or name one of them at random, and you immediately have predicted their choice ahead of time. So it's a really quick, snappy opener. Then we go into like a 3-phase routine, which is all about seeing with the fingertips. Then we go into another routine, which is preceded by the introduction to the routine afterwards. It's like kind of a thing where they're doing the work, that you're teaching them how to do what they need to do, but it all comes full circle with a serial number reveal of a bill that they cross your palm with at the start, almost as payment for teaching them your skills. And then the final thing is quite a jazzy routine, which is the distance read. So they literally have all the cards in their hand and wash them around the table, and they can pick them at random, and you're telling them each one that they pick up, or 2 at a time, or whatever. So it's a really really nice, different kind of ESP routine, which gradually builds from you just placing one card down on the table to the finale having, all of these cards filling the table. It's like a really clear upwards journey. So it's a lot of fun. But of course, as I said, all of the routines can be done individually as well, because I know not everyone is going to want to do a 20-30 minute act with ESP cards. Some people just like to have that in their pocket as something that they can pull out if they're sick of getting people to write things down.
And I love the fact that you've explained and performed the routines individually, and you can perform them individually, but also at the same time, you can put this whole act together if you want to. I think the other thing that's important is that although we're dealing with ESP symbols here, and I'm going to mention this in the review later on, although we're dealing with ESP symbols, it doesn't have to. I mean, Lewis is the most mystical person in the world. He's an enigma wrapped up in a riddle. Like, he's just so enigmatic. and you are as well.
Yeah.
And it can sometimes be for somebody who's kind of into mental magic. You kind of look at that and you go, I don't know if that's me. I mean, I love doing censoring. You're going to see a performance of it later on. I do it with this whole thing about me being a superhero and proving to them that I'm a superhero, which is, you don't have to go down the whole mystical route. You know, what you have here is an interesting hook that you can use to, you know, apply to so many different things.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key, really. And it ties back to this being a plain black box. This is designed for anyone, whether they're a magician, a mentalist, a mystical performer, a comedy performer, a psychological performer. It doesn't matter. What you have is a tool, a utility item, 5 simple symbols, and then a plethora of information to get you started on how to use these 5 simple symbols to create entertainment, whatever your style is and the way you like to do things is inconsequential, because it's just 5 simple pieces of information. And with those 5 simple pieces of information, you can do almost anything.
Absolutely. Like, I've got
that's the strength, I think, of a product like that. It's like a deck of cards, but even more simple.
Completely agree with you. I mean, I do I know that Lewis has got a matchup routine on there, which is killer. I've got a matchup routine that I like to do. And the nice thing about these cards, if you've got your own ESP symbol routines that you do, you don't have to do the routines that are included on the project. These just make it a lot easier, because obviously the markings are so much easier than any of the sets I've seen. Like, I had a tattoo on my arm ages ago, the 5 ESP symbols. And the wavy lines was in red. And the idea was, this is the tattoo that I've never used. And my idea was to somehow force wavy lines and then bring my arm up like that. And I've never been able to do it. Well, these cards I can, because I can have them take 5 cards, mix them up. I know exactly where the wavy lines are. I then can use a simple equivoke or a patio force. I can get to that wavy lines, and then I can do this. And I'm so excited just finally to be able to use the one tattoo I've not really been able to use. I mean, if you used
Gambit from the tutorial without that's the one that has the serial number before and afterwards. But that routine, you could use that as a force for a symbol. You show the 5 symbols, turn them face down, place them across the table, and whichever symbol they name, or touch or take or whatever, will be the wavy lines in your case, or whatever symbol you want to force. Yeah, and it's not a difficult setup at all. It you know, if you're going to do something that you really want to make a big deal, it's worth having that tiny bit of 10-second setup and just throw the cards back in the box.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, go on.
I literally lost my trail of thought. I was probably going to say another feature or benefit of the product. I don't know.
You know what? I could wax lyrical about this for ages, and I'm going to talk about it later on in the review. But I love it just because it is. I was very, very skeptical when you showed me that video, and you turned around to me and said,
"Oh,
you're going to be."
Everyone thought it was fake.
Yeah. I was like, there's no chance. Sarah's seen so much magic, and she knows how amazing the 1914 was. And I showed her this video, and she turned around and she went, nah, that's set up. I'm like, no, I'm sure it's not. And then I saw the marking system. I was like, man, I could see this from so far away, and I'm blind as a bat. This is so cool. This is a really great. I'm going to swing it back into the studio in a minute and do a full review. But before I do, while I have you on camera, let me ask you one more question. It's coming up to Blackpool in a couple of months, Dee. You know, we're getting to Christmas, and then a couple of months later, it's going to be Blackpool. I know the 1914 are going to be releasing more stuff in the next 3 months. I don't want specifics, but is there anything that you can tell us that we should be looking out for?
We'll have one of those.
I love that.
We'll see if people screenshot that. Yeah, we'll have Lewis's wallet that you've been leaking literally no information about and making everybody email us.
My social media's blown up about that. Like, they're like, where can I get the wallet? Where can I get the wallet? I've had so many messages.
Yeah. Like, they're in production at the moment. We're hoping to take delivery of them through December at some point. But yeah, so it'll be January or February that'll be coming out. We haven't specified yet exactly which products we're going to be releasing in January and which will come out in Blackpool, because we need to wait for everything to be completed, and then we can make a decision. But yeah, so we've got a very busy month ahead. But yeah, we've got Lewis's wallet, which is very exciting. I think that's going to do really, really well. I'm very excited about that. And one thing that you might not have mentioned is it comes in 2 different sizes. So we haven't really released any information about it, but there's two different sizes, and it's called Orphic and Orphic Plus. And yeah, they basically allow you to do similar things, but in different ways. And the instructions, obviously, we've got Lewis waffling on about all sorts of things you can do with the wallet. And then next week we're shooting an extra piece with a magician that most people will be familiar with, who is teaching how to use it for magic as opposed to mentalism, which is going to be a lot of fun, I think.
Oh, there's so many applications you can use this wallet for. As far as I'm concerned, the question of what's the best wallet out there, it's over. Like this yeah. I don't even know the name of the wallet, to be perfectly honest, but the name, whatever
Orphic.
It is, Orphic.
ORPHIC, Orphic and Orphic Plus. Yeah, so that's your little scoop, because nobody knows anything about it yet, really. There's been very few people that have actually seen it. Obviously, yourself and us here, like myself, Jack, Lewis, Alex, and I think that's about it. Oh, and Lloyd Barnes, because he went crazy over it.
Lloyd's rung me up about 4 times about this wallet. He's like,
yeah, we'll have to send him one.
Yeah,
when they come in, because he won't let me live it down.
Yeah, he's so excited to get one. He's like, I should have offered Dee. He actually said to me last time I spoke to him, I should have offered him money. I said I would have paid anything to go away right there and then with that wallet.
Yeah, and I would have probably taken him off on that. No, I mean we've only got a few of them, unfortunately. Like, you've got one of the Plus wallets, and myself, Lewis, and Jack have got one of the Orphic standard wallets, and yeah, that's it. That's all that there is in the world until they come off the presses. So yeah, it's going to be good though. I'm trying not to give too much away, but I want to tell everyone everything about it.
Well, when it comes out, can I bring you back on the channel and we can do a conversation about it?
Yeah, we'll get all of us in. We'll have a
that'd be good, actually.
Myself, Jack, and Lewis can all go down and chat about.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Well, Dee, it is an absolute pleasure. Did you have something else to say?
No, not really. We've got other tricks coming out, but I'm not going to give you any information on those. Well, you know some of them because they're yours, but
I'm not saying anything to anybody. I'm shrouded in secrecy.
Keeping it under wraps. Yeah, cool. And actually, one thing I should mention is we're currently having a brand new, super elaborate website built at the moment, which is really exciting. Fantastic.
And I heard rumors that the new website is going to allow people to download files in the future.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So that's at the moment, because of the nature of the way our system works, like, we coded it in such a way that in the back-end accounts, like it has it kind of like a course. So puts a little tick next to the lessons that you've watched and all of this, so you can track where you are if you're watching it in different area. And when you download stuff, all of that kind of stuff goes out the window. So we kept it streaming only. But yeah, we ran a customer survey a month or two ago before we started on the new development project with a great company in Leicester, who are building for us. And yeah, one of the main things that people asked for was downloads. So yeah, we're going to have to give it to them. But yeah, I think once that's all up and running, things will change completely. It's really good for the artists as well, because we've got this whole back end being built where they can log in and see their royalties and the sales as they come in and all of this kind of stuff. Really elaborate. And yeah, just some very exciting custom code that allows everything to be very fluid and really, really nice. The company we're working with have just done a phenomenal job. But yeah, so that we're looking at 1st of February to launch that just before our first birthday on the 19th of February, which is the Saturday of Blackpool.
Wow, yes, it is. That's amazing. Have to have a birthday party on the Saturday evening.
Yeah, perhaps. But we'll see. Because there's always parties going on and stuff. So,
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll just sit in our little hotel room and raise a glass, wear some party hats, and that's about it. Yeah, black and gold ones, of course.
Absolutely. Well, Dee, it's been an absolutely incredible time chatting to you. I'm going to bring it back into the studio and talk to everybody about Eclipse and talk to them. And I'm even going to perform a trick. Hopefully I won't butcher it. It's definitely not going to be cool like you, but I'll give it my best shot. And yeah, I think people need to know you can get this directly from all. It's going to go in Murphy's. It's going to be in all good magic dealers. But
yeah, you can get it everywhere.
The best thing to do really is to support the 1914. If you can get it directly from you guys do ship worldwide. You will ship it to all over the world. So
yeah, we've got shipping centers here in the UK and in the USA as well. So yeah, the packages for UK and Europe come out of the UK, and then the packages for the rest of the world, the US, Asia, all of that, come out of our USA shipping center. So yeah, people can get it directly from us or from anywhere else, their favorite magic dealer. Yeah,
amazing. Dee, thank you so much. I'm going to swing this back to the studio. I will see you again, my friend.
Yes, thank you very much, Craig. See you later.
Take care.
So there you go. Thank you, Dee Christopher, for finding time to come on the channel and chat to me about Eclipse. Very enlightening, it really was. I didn't actually realise that these came out a long while ago. But there you go. Now I'm going to say the same thing to you that I said to Dee. This is going to be a full and honest review. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about it. If I don't like it, you'll know. If I do like it, you'll know. I've got to tell you right now, I do like these. And there's a few reasons I like them. I'm a big fan, and maybe that's just me, and maybe not everyone's the same, but I'm a big fan of projects. It reminds me of the olden days when L&L would bring out a series of videos and I'd be there for hours studying every individual trick. The problem with a lot of stuff that comes out these days is it's a single trick release. It's like a 5-minute tutorial and it feels half-arsed. You never get that with a 1914 release. They always put so much time and effort into making sure that you get everything that you need, regardless of what the project is. And it's the same with Eclipse. It is a project. It's a 2.5 hour long tutorial that is shot to the same high standards of every single 1914 release. First of all, you see live performances of all of the routines, which is absolutely fantastic. And you can kind of divide the tutorial into two sections. You've got Dee's section and you've got Lewis's section. Now, if you don't know LeVal, who works with the 1914 and is an incredible creator in his own right, you really should go check out the Talk Magic interview that I did with Lewis. He's a really nice guy, very clever thinker in magic and mentalism, and very mystical. A lot of his stuff is really mystical and kind of out there. He has a couple of routines. He assists Dee in a lot of the tutorials and a lot of the talking about a lot of the routines and so on and so forth. But he actually has two of his own routines as well. The first one is a matchup routine, which is really nice, but done with that sort of LeVal flair. And then you've got this whole thing that revolves around muscle reading, and it fits Lewis's style perfectly. It just would not fit my style at all. But if you've ever seen anything that Lewis has done, like Iris or Revelations or anything like that, or Paint the Roses Red, you'll know that this is, you know, the sort of thing that Lewis would come up with. And there's going to be people out there that are going to watch this and they're just going to absolutely love it. The thinking behind those two routines are brilliant, absolutely amazing, and very, very clever. For me, if I was going to do those, I'd have to completely rewrite the presentation because it just doesn't fit my style, but that's fine. That's the nice thing about this project. Lewis and Dee are kind of sharing with you how they do things, but it doesn't mean that you have to do it the same way as them. Now, Dee's section, I found very interesting. Dee goes through 5 different effects, and he structures these 5 effects together as an act. Now, he goes through each effect individually. So he performs and explains each individual effect, and he goes into it with a fine-tooth comb. But then there's another section after that where he talks about how you can string all of these routines together into anything from sort of a 20-minute to 30-minute act. And he talks about everything. So he talks about how to set up the deck so that it's set up to go from one routine into another routine into another routine. He talks about everything. And if you saw the interview, that little whiskey glass that Dee's got, along with the envelopes and along with this pack of cards, is all you need to do like this 20-minute, 30-minute set. And I really like that. I like it when people talk about creating an act, because I think a lot of the problem these days is a lot of tricks that come out, they don't talk about this sort of stuff. It's like, hey, this is the trick, this is how you do it, thanks very much, bye. And there's very little information in any project about how to actually go from this routine to transition into this routine to this routine, and how you're going to go from here to here. And it was really nice to see that there's actually this section being put together by the 1914 to actually show how to put this whole thing together into an act. I thought that was great. Now, the 5 routines that Dee actually does, the first one is like an opening routine. Very, very clever, very quick, which is good because for an opener you do want it to be quick. And it's very simply that somebody picks a symbol and you predicted it. That's it, really. You predict it in a really clever way. And it uses some gaffed cards that you get with the set, and the spectators won't even be aware that the cards are gaffed, but you've got some gaffed cards in play here that allow you to do this really quick prediction. It establishes credibility, it's quick, it would work as a standalone routine as well for sure, but it's a really nice quick sort of introduction into what you're doing. Then you go into the second routine, which is my favourite routine on the project, by the way, and it's called Censor. And it's a 3-phase routine. It just uses 5 ESP cards and an envelope. And what it allows you to do is pretty much convince the spectator that you can sense objects without looking at them. And it's a 3-phase routine. The first phase, they shuffle the cards into any order they want to, and you tell them the order of the cards. In the second phase, they blindly put 3 cards into an envelope, and you sense the order of the cards in the envelope. And in the final phase, it's a little bit like free will, but without a pre-written prediction, where you tell everyone, you know, they put one card in one pocket, one card in another pocket, they hold on to the other one, and you tell them where everything is. Now, one thing that I know people are going to be thinking of when they see this is they're going to be looking at Lewis and looking at Dee, and I mentioned this in the interview. They're going to be thinking, well, I don't know if that's my style. I'm a comedy magician. I don't think that's going to work for me. And that's absolutely fine. I need you to understand that the routines that are being offered here, you can change them around and adapt them, absolutely. And I'm going to give you an example now. I always perform a routine off the project. I'm going to perform Censor because this is going straight into my set. I don't think I'll do the whole set. I do like all the individual tricks. I love the first one. I love the second one. I think I'm going to do the first one and the second one. Maybe use Gambit to do something with my tattoo here, but by the by, I'm going to perform Censor for you. Now, Dee is very cool and very mystical, and he's probably going to have kittens when he watches this performance because I'm taking his cool, mystical, wonderful routine and I'm trivializing it by talking about superheroes, but that kind of fits my style. That kind of fits the sort of style as a performer that I do. I have to make my mentalism more kind of magic-y because that's what I do. So I'm going to perform this for you. This is how I plan on performing it. I've done it a couple of times already. It's got great reactions. Let me show you this. I'm going to show you my performance of Sensor. For you right now. What I have here is a set of very special cards. They're special because they're called ESP cards. ESP stands for Extrasensory Perception. And these cards were basically designed to work out whether people have psychic powers or not. I'm going to use them for a completely different thing, to show you something that you're probably not going to believe, but it's true, which I'll get to in a minute. But first of all, one of these decks of cards is made up of the same 5 symbols repeated 5 times. So there's about 25 cards or something.
Cool.
We're only going to use 5 of them. I'm going to use 1 of each symbol. So we've got 5 symbols there. We're going to use 1 of each symbol. So we've got some wavy lines, we've got a star, we've got square, cross, and a circle.
Okay.
So what I want you to do, Luke, and this is really important, can you mix these up for me and give them a really, really good mix up? That would be amazing.
Yeah, I can
mix them up face down, so you don't know the order, I don't know the order, nobody knows the order.
Okay.
And when while you're doing that, I'll explain to you this thing that you probably don't believe me. I need you to go with this though, because it is genuinely true. I am a superhero.
Right.
I realised the other day. No, seriously, you know, like when Spider-Man, he became Spider-Man because he got bit by a spider.
Yeah.
Now he can do spidery things like climb up walls and stuff. And then Batman, he became Batman because as a kid he fell into a cave full of bats, and and then he ended up dressing like a bat, right? Well, I'm Sensor Man.
Sensor Man.
I can sense things. Because the other day, it was a few weeks ago now, it's taken a while for the powers to grab hold, but a few weeks ago I was feeling something. I wouldn't say what. I don't need to know, magic. But I was in the middle of I was feeling something.
Right.
And I got hit by a bolt of lightning. And then what happened is that gave me superhuman sensing powers.
Oh, you've got to draw the short straw, really. Then,
I know, it's not the best, is it really?
No.
I mean, I'd rather fly, but you gotta deal with the cards that you dealt.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to prove to you that I've got sensing powers, because I know you're probably doubting it. You mix these up, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's start with this one. Watch. Yeah, that's is that a square?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a square. You see, I can actually sense objects. I can sense shapes. Let me try this one. Star. Yeah. Let me try this one here. Oh, that one's easy. That's a circle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Let's try that one. I can just sense it. I can sense it is what I can do. Oh, this tricky. Is that like some wavy lines? The wavy lines. And this would be the cross. Yeah, the cross.
Right, yeah.
See, I can sense stuff. That's my power. That's my ability. I got caught with lightning, feeling something, and now I can sense things.
Oh, I need to stop feeling stuff.
You do. I'm going to go one step further. Just in case you think that I'm lying, which I'm not. We'll get rid of 2 of the cards.
Okay.
We'll just use 3.
Right, okay.
I want you to take these cards, put them underneath the table, both hands under the table, and I want you to mix them up so you couldn't possibly know the order that they're in. And when you've done that, keep them under the table and let me know. Yeah. And while you're doing that, I'll show you that I've also got this envelope, nothing inside the envelope.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're done, you're going to take that envelope and you're going to have that under the table. Don't bring the cards out. Don't look at the cards. Don't look at the envelope. What I want you to do, without looking at anything, is go under the table and grab grab those cards, put them inside the envelope, and then tell me when you're done.
Done.
Yeah, you're done?
I'm done.
Now, I don't want you to even bring it out the table. Do me a favour, hand it to me under the table. That way I can't cheat. Is that?
You got it,
yeah, I think so. I was about to say, is that an envelope? Yeah, that's definitely the envelope.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm going to look away. So you didn't look at the cards. You don't know what the order they're in.
No, I've got a
You
clue.
put them in the envelope under the table.
Yeah.
Circle, cross, wavy lines. That's the order. Circle, cross, wavy lines. Circle, cross, wavy lines. Circle, cross, wavy lines. Circle, cross,
Mate,
wavy lines.
you are a superhero.
Seriously, I am.
What?
We'll try one last thing. Mix them up face down. Mix them up face down again, so you don't know the order. If you want to put them under the table, you can.
Yeah.
But then when you've brought them back, put them here.
Okay.
Okay, bring them back and lay them out so they're spaced out.
There's that.
So if you're happy with that, I'm happy with that.
Happy with that. Man.
What I want you to do when I snap my fingers, I want you to pick one of the cards up but keep it face down when I snap my fingers. Okay, and put it. Do you want to put it in your left hand or your right hand pocket?
I'll put it in my left.
Put it in your left hand pocket then. Yeah?
Yep.
That's in your left hand pocket. Now I'm going to snap my fingers. When I do pick up another one, and you're going to put it in your right hand pocket. That one there?
Yeah. Well, that's
You
it.
sure?
Yep.
Positive?
Yep.
Okay. And hold this one in between your hands. You mix them up.
Yeah.
Wavy lines. You've got the wavy lines. And we'll do the other two simultaneously. In that pocket, you've got the circle. In that pocket, you've got the cross.
Mate.
And that is why I'm Sensor Man. So that's Sensor. That's exactly how it plays. The beautiful thing about that routine is after about 10 seconds, you reset to do again. I know that you hand the envelope to the person under the table. You don't have to hand the envelope to the person under the table if you don't want to. That, for me, is the best way to do it. That's the way that Dee suggests it. He talks about other options on the project as well. I know that there's going to be people watching this going, well, I don't sit down, I don't use a table. It's not a problem. There are lots of other options as well. But I just think it's the perfect example of how you can take these cards and go in a completely different direction with them. The next routine is Gambit, which Dee spoke about on the interview, and Gambit is very, very interesting. It includes a very clever force of a ESP symbol that completely flew by me and fooled me completely, to be honest. It's a very cool force of an ESP symbol. But in with this, you're also doing a second routine, which is a serial divination. Now, if you've never done a serial divination before, where you borrow a bill and you divine what that serial number is, or predict what that serial number is, it's always really strong because everybody knows that every single bill or every single note has their own serial number. And Dee's managed to combine these two routines into one that built to a really cool climax. And then the final routine, which is the distance read, again, it feels like a mentalism version of a kind of a multiple card find, because people are just, you're taking the deck of cards and, they're all, you can have them smush them around on the table like this. And then you just tell them to pick one up and look at it, and you go wavy lines, brilliant. Now pick another one up, look at it. Okay, it's the star. Now pick up two of them and have a look at it. Oh, it's the star and the square. It feels very much like wavy lines. And what I like about this is you can smush these around. You can get different people to pick them up. If you don't want to smush them, you can hand packets out to people to hold, and you can have them hold one up, and you can get different people involved. Very nice way. I understand why Dee used this to close his set. It's a very nice way to close it. It really is. The other thing that I want to point out, so the tutorial is amazing. It really is amazing. The tutorial is gold, and anytime you get Dee Christopher and LeVal on screen together, they bounce off each other so well. So the tutorial is amazing. The cards themselves, including the gaff cards, are great. They just sit nicely inside this wallet. This just fits into your top pocket or wherever you want to put it, and you're ready to go whenever you want to. The other thing worth noting about this is and I mentioned this in the interview, but it's worth mentioning again, you can do your own routines with this. So I do an ESP matchup routine that I've done for years, and I love my ESP matchup routine. I really do. It's one of my favorites. It's a one ahead principle and so on and so forth. You could do this for sure. You could do that absolutely fine with these cards. If there's an ESP routine that you do that you like, you can use these cards for it. The only difference is these cards are so easy to read, and I think that's one of the key things that you need to understand. These cards are so easy to read. I mentioned this in the interview, but when Sarah, my wife, saw this, and she knows a lot of magic, when I showed her Dee doing this on camera, she was like, oh, that's fake. There's no way you can look in that mirror from all the way back there and do it. Within 5 minutes, I taught her this symbol, this way of doing things, and she doesn't do magic, and she was going cross, she was going square, she was going star, 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 circle. Like, she was that quick, like from really far away. Really easy to read, absolutely really easy to read. And the other thing, by the way, if you've got them in a spread, as long as you kind of have a little bit of a spread like that, they're fairly easy to read in a spread as well. I mean, you don't have to see the full length of the card. You probably saw in the sensor routine, you hold them like this, and you can get the read off them just by holding it like that. So yeah, I mean, it's great. If it was just the cards, I'd give it a good review. because the way that you're actually getting the peak on the cards is brilliant. The marking system is fantastic. You add to that not only are the cards really well made and they're really beautiful and the gaffs that come with it are great, you're getting 2.5 hours of instruction from Dee Christopher and LeVal. You can't go wrong. Like, I see so many tricks that come to market these days, and the reason I get fed up and I rant about tricks being so bad is because it's really frustrating. You spend 50, 60, 70 quid, $70, 70 bucks, whatever, on a trick, and it comes with a 10-minute download, and you can tell that the person on there has completely half-arsed it. The trick falls apart within 5 minutes. It's badly thought out. It wouldn't fool a blind monkey. And you're kind of like, well, what's the point? This is just dreadful. And then you have something like this comes out, which is nowhere near as expensive, a lot of these things. It's ridiculously high quality. And the two people that are on the download that are talking on there, they absolutely know what they're talking about, and they're giving you value for money. If it was just the tutorial itself, it would be worth the money. But the fact that you're getting the cards, the fact that you're getting the gaffs, the fact that you're getting all of this conversation between Lewis and Dee, this is incredible. It's getting 100%. I absolutely love it. Highly recommend it. And even if you're not a mentalist, even if you're a magician, you are going to be able to do something with these. These are so good. You can get them directly from the 1914 or from all good magic dealers. They're launched officially tomorrow, which is great because you're watching this on Sunday night. You can get them officially tomorrow. I'm getting myself a second set of these because Ryland has seen them and desperately wants a set, so I'm going to get a set for him as well. So both me and Ryland are going to have a set. Love this. Absolutely love this. So 100% from me. Highly recommended. Thank you, 1914, for another great release. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have you played with Eclipse yet? What do you think of it? I'd love to know your thoughts. And yeah, once again, if you want to see more videos like this, you know what you got to do. You just got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. I'm going to be back again on Monday with with 3 videos. At 2 o'clock a shorts, at 6 o'clock we're going to have a Magic Live, and at 9 o'clock we're going to be back with a review. No, we're not. 5x5. So it's going to be a 5x5 then. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you soon. My name's Craig from Magic.